Okay, so that's where we stopped in last week, right? So we were going through the chapter 3, and then I explained some of them and I left rest of them for you to go home and then try to translate. So uh, I hope then you guys, at least made an attempt to translate these, because a lot of these words I haven't explained, and I was asking you to go through the vocabulary list that I gave you to find the meaning of these some of these words. So I don't know. So I'll just quickly translate them, right? And then if you have any question, you can let me know, because we have a lot of things to cover, so I cannot spend too much time. I think the first one I did, right? So al kitabu. So let's start. Bismillah. Okay, we're starting. We're starting. I have my pen ready. Okay, check. So the first one, right? Al kitabu jadidun, right? Wal qalamu qadimun. I don't know if we translate it or not. The book is new, right? Remember the definite indefinite. So we're talking about a sentence. So the book is new, and al qalamu qadim. So remember what I explained to you. Try to memorize opposite words or the similar words at the same time. It's super helpful. Jadid and qadim. Jadid and qadim. If it's hard for you to memorize jadidun, qadimun, that's fine. You can say jadid and qadim. This is something that we'll be talking about today at the ending of the word. Okay? As long as we understand that the default is jadidun, that's fine. You know? So if you don't want to say jadidun all the time, that's no problem. You can say jadid. Okay? So especially when you are memorizing these words. So al-kitab and al-qalamu qadimun is the pen is old. And the next one, al-himaru saghirun, right? Al-himar, what is al-himar? What did we say about himar? Himar is donkey, as-saghir is small. So, I don't know if I think if I write all of them, it's going to take super long time. I'm just gonna write this one. Uh, yeah, so if you miss out, you can probably listen to me when I post, but I think it's gonna take super long time if I'm writing them down in English translation, right? Well, hisanu kabirun, and hisan is horse, right? Kabir is big. Again, same thing. You memorize sagir and kabir. Okay, as you memorize them together, it will be very useful. Next one we have al kursiyu maksur. Okay, maksurun is broken. Okay, again we have the definite and we have indefinite. This is I'm going a little bit fast, right? Because I'm hoping you guys at least went through them during the week. If not, then no problem. When I post it, you can rewatch them. Okay, so al kursi is a chair, and again definite indefinite. We have a sentence. Is maksur is broken. Al-mindilu wasikhun. Mindil is, as we said, it could be, you can just use a tissue like or handkerchief, however you want to say it. It's not a problem. And wasikh is dirty. Okay, wasikh is dirty, which is opposite of what? Where's the other word? Didn't give you here. Oh, here it is. So this is opposite of nadhif. Okay, these are opposite. Okay, so if you memorize wasikh and nadhif, it's easier to memorize. Dirty and clean. Al-ma'u baridun. Ma is water. Okay. Barid is cold. And then you should find the opposite here. So this is cold, and the opposite is here. Har. Okay. Har is hot. Okay. Good. Then we have al-qamaru jamilun. Okay. The qamar is the moon. Okay. The moon. And the jamil is beautiful. Okay. So we have al baytu qarib. So qarib, remember we talked about the last time. Qarib is near, and ba'id is far. So again, you guys should memorize these two together. Qarib, ba'id, or ba'id, qarib. Just like that. So al baytu qaribun is the house is near. Wal masjidu, we have a wall. Am I translating the wall? Okay, this is the first time I saw a wall. Wow is and. Wal masjidu. Again, remember, I'm not saying wa al masjidu. I mean, you can say that, but really, this is something that probably not good. People will. I mean, if it's a long sentence and you're stopping, that's fine. You say al baytu qaribun. Then there's a alif lam here. You can stop, but for the wow, usually it's much better to pronounce together. Wal masjidu instead of saying wa al masjidu. Okay, so you're going to be right here. Again, remember what kind of letter meme is? Is it Qamariya or Shamsiya? So you, you sure? You sure it's Shamsiya? Because if it's Shamsiya, then you have to uh, you have to ignore the lam. Yes, it's Qamari because you were pronouncing because and think about this is the technique. When you say al Qamar, then you know the answer because in the word Qamar you say al Qamar. Okay, so if you're saying al Masjid, then it's going to be al Qamar, right? Because in the Qamar you're pronouncing the alif lam. What happens in the Shams? You say ash-Shams. You don't say al-Shams. So this is one of the technique you can use to figure out, which one is what, right? Because the name actually gives you the answer, right? It's cool, right? So you say al-Qamar. So you say al-Masjidu. So it's a letter of Qamariya. No problem. So then we have Ba'id. So the masjid is far. Right? Then we have Al-Hajaru Thaqil. Thaqil, it's hard to pronounce. So this is one way. Well, maybe the other one also. One way is to help me because long before this word Thaqil used to give me a hard time, is like heavy, right? So the rock is heavy, while Waraq is paper. I don't know it would give you or not. So it's paper. Waraq, Waraq is a paper and also a leaf. Tree leaf. You have a leaf, right? It's the same thing. Yeah, right? So and then and khafif, I don't know if you can read it. Khafif. So this is fa. Okay. So khafifun. So khafif is what? Khafif is the opposite of thaqil, which is light. Okay. So thaqil and khafif. These two words, yes, is a little bit harder on your tongue and also to memorize. So the number 9 is al-labanu har. Okay. So see, here how they're using the laban because we don't eat or drink yogurt hot, right? Laban is here they're using as a milk. I told you like that's the translation that we're going to be using laban for is a milk, but it can also be yogurt in the modern context. Okay, so har is hot, so the milk is hot. Okay, remember these are all sentence because we have definite and indefinite combination. And the last one we have al-qamisu nadhif. So qamis is a shirt. We had this one in previous lesson. Al-qamis is a shirt. The shirt is clean. Okay, it's clear. This part is clear. Any question from here? Jade. Okay, now we're starting with the at-tamarin. Tamarin is exercises. Okay, tamarin. So what I'll do is, if we were to go through everything in the class, it's probably not going to be super useful. So what I'll do is basically for every exercise, I'll go through some of them, right? And then the rest, I'll leave it for you guys to try at home. And the exercise is not for the teacher to go through in the class. It's usually helpful for you to do so that it's probably, yeah, so I'll just do that. Okay, we'll just go through some of them and let's see what happens because we have to cover chapter 4 today, inshallah. So what does it say? It says Iqra waktub. Okay, see here we have Hamzatul Wasl and we say waktub. We cannot say waktub. Actually, wa uktub. If you don't have wa, it's uktub. So we have Iqra waktub ma'a dabti awakhir al-kalimat. Okay, so read and write with adopt here. It means the harakats. Okay, it's same thing as harakat. So you have to read and write with whatever awakhir. Awakhir is the plural of the end of the words. Basically, it means end of the word. These words you don't have to know. Okay, it's just an instruction. Sooner or later, inshallah, you will know all of these words what they're talking about. Right now, it's just instruction is asking you to read and write. So remember, it's also asking you to write. So this is your writing practice, right? Read and write with because they give you the first ones, but they left the last one for you. Why? Why would they do that? What's the point? The point is they're teaching you the concept that we learned last week, which is indefinite and definite. So the first one you will say masjidun, right? With tanween. Yes, good. Masjidun. And the second one, how would you say the second one? With one dhamma, right? Without the tanwin, masjidu. Okay. So al-ma'u and then ma'un. Okay. Al-baytu. Okay. Then you have babun. I'll just do one line. Okay. So qalam, what's going to be? I don't even feel like asking because I'm pretty sure you guys are kind of understood that. Qalamun and al-qalamu. Okay. So this one you should write them. By the way, my first preference would be that you have the book, okay, and then you bought it or you have it somehow, and then you write on the book. This is something that I feel like student um, this concept is gone. Like before, like all, if you look at all of the scholars or everything, they write so much, there's no space left on the book, so that's one way. Usually that's how I do it. And if you don't have the book, the second option would be at least print out the pages that you're studying on that week, and then still write on the page. Okay. Uh, if that's not the case, then you can just, for this one, you can just write number one and just the word. Okay. Okay, masjid. All right. So I think you should be able to do the rest, inshallah. Number two is says ikra waktub. It just read and write, nothing else. Okay. So now they're giving you even more challenge, right? What's the challenge here? Huh? They removed all the harakat, nothing. So now, how do you do this? I don't know if I explained to you here in this class or not. Basically, our brain, believe it or not, when we read English or anything, you think our brain goes through the spelling stude. When we see the word student, you think it goes through the spelling student. No, it recognizes as a shape. Believe it or not, it just recognizes as a shape and the context, and then it picks up what we know. So we look at the word student or anything like uh, student. We're not, our brain is not spelling the word. He knows, he recognizes it just like a emoji shape. Simple as that. Brain thinks this is an emoji, and then based on context, he picks it up. So same thing. Eventually, what's going to happen? These words will be. You have to recognize them as a shape. Okay. And sometimes it could be mu, it could be ma, it could be me, all of these things can happen, but you will learn the next part. First part is you recognize the possibilities, what this word can be just by looking at the shape. And the second one, you get it from the context, right? So obviously you cannot do either one of these if you don't know the word. You've never seen this word in your life. Then you have no clue what to do with this. Okay? You have no clue. So that's why one of the things I like this book in the beginning, when the book introduce a brand new word, it will give you the whole harakat. Okay, it will give you the whole harakat. For example, we had this word in the beginning, right? Maktab here, right? See, it gave you the whole harakat. Okay, you have a fatah here, you have a sukun here, because all of these things. But next time, usually what happens, next time this word comes, slowly the book will try to remove as many as harakat it can. Okay, so basically it tries to get you reading without the harakat, and that is an extremely important tool. If you are, as I said, if you're super serious about Arabic language, if your whole goal is just Quran, finish, then maybe this is not that super important because the Quran will give you all the harakat, okay, so that we never make any mistake, okay. But if this is, I really personally think it's important for us to be able to read without the harakat. So here it's going to be, we know we've seen this word maktab. We haven't seen any other word that looks similar. So the only word we can come up with is maktab. So it's fine. So you write maktabu. You're going to say maktabu or maktabun. Because of alif lam, you're going to say maktabu. Okay. So we've seen this word. The next word also, we've seen it, right? What do you think is this one is? It's maksur, right? Yes. Which one are you reading? I'm reading the first one. I'm reading al-maktabu maksurun. Did I miss anything? Maktabu maksurun. Okay. Another technique I'll teach you, maybe, I don't know if which is like when you have a dhamma, okay, and the word after that you have a wow, okay, it will always be a sukun. So this sukun is really, you don't have to put that sukun. It's like, you can put it, fine, but it's no need for it. Okay, because when you have this is something that I'll talk about a little bit later today, inshallah, when we talk about the new topic. Okay, so basically you have to know these words in order to read them. Okay, here, is it madrisun, mudrisun, madrasa? You have no idea, but if you memorize the word, is mudarris, right? It's a mudarris, right? Because we didn't get anything yet. Yes, so it's going to be mudarrisu. Oh, you were doing this. Yeah, I think you're doing the second one. Good. Mudarrisu jadidun. Here, so remember what I said. When you have a dhamma and wow, it will be sukun, and when you have a kasra and ya, it will be sukun as well. Okay. Maktabun again. Which part of the maktabun? The how to pronounce which part? So al-maktab is desk, is something that we learn in the chapter 1, right? The lesson 1. So now they're just removing everything, all the harakat. So we have to know the word in order to put back those harakats, right? So we have to know it sounds like maktabun. So now you can pronounce it back and put those harakat back, right? So because if you have to be familiar with the sound, it's maktabun, not muktabun, miktabun. If you know it's maktabun, now you can put your vowels back. We're going to be talking a little bit more about vowels and everything. So I don't want to spend too much time here. So maktabun. Say you said maktabun. So how do you say? Is it going to be dhamma here? No, it's going to be fatha here. And kaf has a sukun, maktabu. Okay. And when I say maktabun, because of our famous alif lam, right? Oh, okay. Where's the meme? Okay, okay. So this is the handwriting. I think this is the print. So yeah, this meme is a very tricky one. It's a sneaky meme. It's a super sneaky. You see this meme here? That's actually a meme. So the way I usually write like that also. So I'll say like that. Okay. See, the meme will be right here. Al maktatu. Here. I don't know if most of the people actually will not write like that. I'm not sure if I have to double check. But usually when you have a meme and lam and meme, usually they put the meme right behind the lam. Okay, so you have to be, yeah, it's a good question actually. You have to be a little bit, yeah, that's your meme. Is it clear? Jay, you're welcome. Okay, so right, so I'll just do one more and then I'll leave the rest for you guys. Okay, so what do you think this word is? Huh? With the dhamma and everything, the whole thing. Can you somebody write? So let's see if you guys can pick, because this is the word from our lesson number 1. Yes, so we have alif lam, right? So we have to say al, remember, and al. Yes, exactly. So al, and this is one of the qamariya letter because it's al. You have a qaf here. Al qamisu. Good. Yes, al qamisu. Okay, and yeah, that's it. See, you have to recognize this. If you find this one, overwhelming, I can, it's fine. If you don't want to do this, this is fine, right? But the book will eventually try to push you, because if you're not comfortable, what's going to happen? The newer lessons, if this word comes back, the book will not give you harakat. I can put those harakat back for you, no problem, right? But something I feel you should get used to it. I don't know if you're, because if it's too much, maybe you're feeling overwhelmed, but I feel like you should get used to reading without harakat, because if you read any books of any fiqh and everything, there's no harakat, there's nothing. So you have to be yes, wa si khun, yes, wa si khun, that's it. Could you please could you explain regarding sukun when the meme comes before? Okay, yes. So this is something that inshallah, I will do it today when we go to the new lesson. It's a good topic. We have to talk about this one. Good. I'll explain inshallah. Okay, so the rest one I leave it for you. Okay, play around with this. If you find it difficult, uh, no problem. This is the first time we're seeing something like that. Everything will be difficult, right? So no problem. Before, they just used to give us the last one, which is grammar. That's easier because we know the topic. Here, it might be a little bit harder, but if you know the sound, okay, it says, we know how to say hot, cold, it's barid. So you're not gonna say barad, you are saying barid, so you'll figure out, how do we make kasra sound, e sound, so you put kasra, bari, dun. Okay, so I think you should spend some time in this one, inshallah. Okay, next one is املأ الفراغ فيما يلي بوضع الكلمات المناسبة من كلمة التالية. So basically it's saying to fill out, it's saying fill the firag. Imla is a fill, firag is a gap. فيما يلي, what's coming, by putting appropriate word. الكلمة مناسبة from the word that's coming. So basically what it's saying is here, they give you these words here, this word list, okay? And you have to fill out the gap, okay, these gaps, by choosing an appropriate word, okay? So here it's interesting. Let us do three of them, okay? So its first one is what? See, they don't even put any harakat here. What are you gonna do? So we kind of have to know this word, right? You have ha, jim, and ra. What word do we know with this combination? So you have to hajaru. Yes, al hajaru. Yes, good. So we have to, if we don't know the vocabulary, so I feel like they're pushing you to memorize the vocabulary. That's good. Anything that helps to memorize the word, it's useful, because I cannot help you in this regard. That's the one thing I wish I could do something, like come in the class, we all say al hajaru, al hajaru, it's not gonna happen, right? So some of these words you kind of have to take it upon yourself to memorize them. And here you can't do anything if you haven't memorized the word. So what is your answer? What are you gonna choose for the first one? Al hajaru. What is al hajaru? Al hajaru is rock or stone, right? We talked about that, stone. So brother JB is saying, okay, thaqilun. Okay, everybody agrees with him. So he chose the word, this one, thaqilun. Yes. So thaqilun is heavy. So yes, the stone is heavy. So you can put thaqilun. Thaqilun. Okay. Good. So the next one we have al. What are you gonna read? Al. How do you read this one? Just quick, So because if I talk the whole day, yes, al babu. Yes, good. Al babu. Now, be careful when you say al. You don't want to sound the tanween, right? So you cannot say al babun. So al and the tanween sound un or an, whatever. Yes, yeah, it's good. Like we have to make mistake, otherwise we're not learning. But this is one of these things, once in a while you will see maybe even I slip through this thing. That's not the issue. Issue is, as long as we know the rule, then alhamdulillah, and we will get used to them, no problem. So al babu, yes. Anybody choose anything? Okay, so Sister Sultan Irene chose maftuhun. Yes. So she's saying, what is maftuh? Maftuh is open. So she wants to say the door is open. This is the one she chose. I like that. That's fine. Yes. Maftuhun. Okay. Maftuhun. Okay. Jay. Maybe one more. Okay. Next one. Somebody can do the whole thing for me. Just write in English. What? Maybe I should keep the whole thing in front of you so you can see it. So we're doing this one. Okay. I have al kama. Yes. Good. So I think you meant to say al kamaru. Yes, that's good. Al kamaru jamilun. Okay. The moon is beautiful. Very nice. Okay. So we will say jamilun. Now, question is, do you have to say, yeah, if you can play around with this. You can say al-qamaru thaqilun. Yes, the moon is heavy, no problem. You want to, just be creative and whatnot, but that's, as long as it kind of makes sense, that's fine. You cannot say al-qamaru khafifun. We're pretty sure we're not going to be agree with that one. That the depends if you're talking about from, uh, the whole creation, the other creation perspective may be true, but from standard, we want to say either jamil or heavy, something like that. Okay, Jayed, ahsant. Okay, so finish the rest for the homework, inshallah. Just do them in home. And if you have any questions, usually I might not go through them next time unless you guys have a question. Okay, so as long as you understand the main concept, and that's fine. Same thing is saying imla al-firaq fima yali biwadi kalimatin munasib. So here they didn't give you any word to choose from. They just want you to come up with those words. So obviously it's the same thing. The first one, they give you the second part, which is the, if you know your subject and predicate as nominative sentence, they give you the subject, they want you to find the predicate. Here they want you to find the subject, the first part, right? So maybe this is something would be much better for home, but let's do a few of them. Nadif. So we want to say something is clean. Nadif is what? Clean, right? Nadif is clean. Nadifun. So what do you want to say clean? Huh? What are the words that we know we can say something is clean? I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly what book said. You can come up with anything. Al, yeah, al kami. So yes, al kamiso. So we can say al kamiso. Yes, and I like that you said al. Yes, al kamiso. Very nice. Al kamiso. Okay. We can also al bab. Who cares? As long as it makes sense. The door is clean. No problem. So that as long as it kind of makes sense. Good. Okay, so that's the exercise here, right? So you come up with the first part. Okay, let's do one more. So what is broken? Maksur is broken, right? Maksur is broken. So what do you want to say? Yes, see, you also did it. So you want to say the door is broken? Yes, no problem, the door is broken. Why do we have to say the pen is broken just because the book said it? No, we can make whatever we want. Al babu maksur. Okay. Yes, so that's what it is. Yeah, you can even say kursi. That's even better. Chair breaks all the time. A few days ago, my chair broke. So maybe I haven't seen pen breaking, to be honest with you. Chair breaks more often than pen. Jayid. Yeah. And even the desk is breaking up. Yes, subhanallah. Anything but the pen. Yes, good. So you got it. So yeah, you can, and here's your words, right? You have the words right next to it. Okay, so you can choose any of these words and just make sure, because we're making a sentence, we have to make the first one definite. Okay, just put the alif lam and remove the tanween. Okay, and then you can pick from one of these words. Okay, so we know all of these words. Al-qamaru is Al-qamaru is what? The moon. Jadidun is new. Qadimun is old. Wasikhun is dirty. Nadifun is clean. Harun is hot. Baridun is cold. Sagirun is small. Kabirun is big. Maftuhun is open. Maksurun is broken. Thaqilun is heavy. Khafifun is light. Jamil, beautiful. Waqifun is standing. Did we do this one? Uh, Standing. Standing not as a noun, not as a verb. And jalisun is sitting. Sitting has one T or two T's? Sitting. I don't know. Okay, right? So these are the ones, the new words for so far. I think there's more words in this chapter. This chapter is pretty long. That's why I'm trying to see what happens. Okay, so, this much we understand. We've been through this, no problem, right? Right? Now they will be, let me see what they're trying to explain here. Okay, I know what they're trying to explain here. So I think they're trying to show you the huruf shamsiya, right? Because it looks like all of these letters are from the huruf shamsiya, right? How do you pronounce them? So here they're saying, all of them starts from we ignore the alif lam, the lam here, right? So it's an-najmu, okay? We say an-najmu ba'id. So what is najm? Did we forget what najm? We cannot forget it. It might be far away, but we can forget. Najm is star, okay? This word comes in Quran many times. So I think that's what they're trying to say. So let's see if we understand all of the meanings here. Najmun ba'id, the star is far. Ar-rajulu waqif. Ar-rajul, I think it's a new word, right? What is ar-rajulu? So the word is rajulun, rajulun, which is man. Okay? Yes, so good. So you have alif lam, so we're gonna have the man. So waqifun, we just talked about it, which is standing. So the man is standing. Okay? Sukkar, we know what sukkar is, right? Sugar. Hullun. Hullun is sweet. Sweet. Okay, something that is sweet. Okay, hullun is sweet. So the sugar is sweet, obviously, right? A talibu, we had it, right? The student. Marid. Marid is sick or ill. Okay, right? This word also comes in the Quran. Then we have dik, a dik. We know this word. Jamil, we know that, right? So I'm trying to see which one we need. A daftar. Did we have the word daftar? Daftar is notebook. Okay, daftar is a notebook. So a daftar is the notebook. Jadid. Okay, so the notebook is new. Am I going too fast? A tajir. We had this word, a tajir. Remember the businessman or merchant? Ghani. Okay, I think it's a new one. This word is also in the Quran, and Allah is Ghani. Allah is the most rich, right? Ghani is rich. You know, so you have to know. Did they give you the opposite? Faqir is the poor, so Ghani is rich. So the businessman is rich. A dukkan. Sometimes. Yeah, so if I'm going too fast, maybe I should go a little bit slow because these are basically some vocabularies. So a dukkan is what? The store. A store. Okay, so the store. Okay, a dukkan. Okay, dukkan is a store, or it could be like, any kind of small store. Not something big. Yeah, maftuh. Maftuh is open, right? We know that, right? The store is open. Al-waladu, remember al-walad is the boy. Faqir, here's the word opposite. They put it right next to each other. Good. And you should memorize it, right? Ghaniyun, faqirun. Or you can say ghani, faqir. Okay, the boy is poor. Yes, the boy is poor, unfortunately, right? And then we have a tufah. Tufah, what is tufah? Tufah is an apple. Well, here's the apple. Okay, the apple. The apple is what? Ladid. Ladid also comes in the Quran. Tuf also comes in Quran. Delicious, yes. So, okay. So basically what happening here is that you have to, few things you have to know in order to make this sense. Number one, you have to know these are sentences. How do we know this is a sentence? Why am I not saying the far star? Something that we're going to be studying very soon. Why am I not saying the far star? Yes, because we know it's a sentence because we have this definite and indefinite. Okay, so as soon as you have a break from definite and indefinite, this is why you put the helping verb is. Okay, this is another interesting technique. Maybe right now it's super easy, but sometimes you have to know this thing, when to put the verb is. Okay, as soon as you have the break between the definite and indefinite. So the star, now you have a break, then you put the word is. The star is far. Okay, so that's basically the exercise. Second exercise is that you have to know the vocabularies, right? This will not be fun if you're not. So I still want you to guys, do the translation at home. It will help you with the vocabularies, right? Inshallah. Okay. Oh, we have one big one. Why don't I leave this one for you guys to do at home? Inshallah. Okay. I think, yeah, it's just adding two small sentence using the word wa, which is and, right? Jayyid. So same thing. This one is you have to read and write by using the proper pronunciation and the harakat, right? So al babu, okay, at-tajiru, like that. Okay, good. So, and you should note which one is the huruf al-shamsi and which one is kamariya. So by doing, how should you point out? Just put the sukun on the lam, then you know you have to pronounce al. If you put sukun on the lam, you know you're pronouncing it. And here you're completely ignoring it, right? Jayyid. So this is the similar exercise, right? You can use one of those vocabularies and put them here. For example, you can say at-tajiru ghani, right? You understand this? A lot of these things is like, it's not good for going through them in the class. It's much better if you do them in home, and then you have a question you can ask me. Okay, so this is fine. We can leave this one for you guys to do at home. Okay, yes, good. Jayid, Hassan. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's basically another nice exercise. You can pick one and just do connecting fun games. So you have a talibu student. You can pick talibu ladidun. The student is delicious. Well, I don't know what kind of imagination or storybooks you're reading, that's not going to work out, right? So we have to say student is what? Broken. Well, let's not put him into a car accident. So give him something good. What? Okay, there's no good, unfortunately. Only thing, the best thing I can do is not break his bones, but at least make him sick. Hopefully, he doesn't have the COVID-19. So the student is sick. Yes, poor student. Okay, so inshallah, I think this is fun for you guys to do. If I do it, it's not too fun. Okay, you guys can do this one in home. This is probably much easier than the other ones, right? And I think, whoa, subhanAllah, this is a big, big chapter, isn't it, right? Then we have al-kalimatul jadida, which is new words. I'm pretty sure we went through them. Hulwun is sweet, right? And use the dictionary that I gave you. I don't have to write all of them. Marid is sick. Ad-dukan, we talked about a store, right? Ghani is rich. Tawil is tall. Okay, Tawil is tall. Tawil is tall. And what is the opposite? Opposite is sitting right here. Qasir. Qasir is short. Okay, memorize together. Faqir is the opposite of Ghani, which is poor. And tufah is the apple. Okay, the apple. Good. So far, so good. Yeah, this is a big lesson for sure. Sometimes you'll find some of the lessons are super big in this book. Some of them will be extremely simple. So this one we talked about last time. So this one I can ignore, right? Remember we talked about Huruful Qamariya and Shamsiya, right? What happens, right? We went through, I think, pretty much all of these words, right? And I'm pretty sure we also went through, let me see, any words that okay, I might be able to go through the words quickly. Al-ab is father, right? Should I write them down or you have a dictionary? You guys, everybody has a dictionary, the one that I gave you, right? Yes, and all the words are there. Is any words missing? I think Brother Jabi was saying something. So all of the words are there, right? Okay, so inshallah, so only thing we know from this column, because these are Qamariya letters, we have to pronounce the alif lam. That's the only thing they're trying to teach you. Okay, you have to say al-ab, you have to say al-bab, al-jannah, al-himar, al-khubz. See, we have to pronounce all of the al, which is the completely opposite with the second column, which is you completely ignore the alif, the lam, right? You say at-tajir, al-thawb, ad-dik, al-dhahab. Here, al-dhahab is gold, okay? Because this is a little bit tricky one, because the dhahab, usually if you don't have, if it's not a noun, it's a verb, which means to go in the past tense. Anyway, so which would be dhahaba. So gold, right? Rajul. Okay, so what's happening here? We are, for this letter, when you have a letter dal, you have to pronounce, you have to ignore the alif, the lam of the alif lam. Okay, that's all. We talked about this one before, right? Something that I feel like you should be familiar with them by now. Finally, I think we reached the last page. I feel super relief. So here it just, again, the same thing. They want you to read the coming words and to write them. Okay, so basically same thing. I don't see anything new here. Okay, maybe some new words. Akh is brother, right? Brother. Oh, actually they're giving a lot of new words here. Subhanallah, this chapter has a lot of words, so I can feel like you guys might feel overwhelmed by all the words. So that's why I give you, as far as I remember, I give you 2 weeks, right? So, and even so, if you cannot memorize the whole words, don't worry, this is not end of the world. We still can move forward, no problem, because a lot of these words will come back. But the sooner we can memorize them, yeah, now I realize it, now that I'm going through page by page. Subhanallah, there are a lot of words, right? Subhanallah. So okay, because let's see, al-akh is brother. Well, this one inshallah we already know. Okay, ar-rasul. Okay, ar-rasul, that's not a new word for us, hopefully, right? Al-wajh is face. It comes in the Quran so many times. The face of the believer will be bright and smiley, and face of the non-believers would be dark, and all those things. The wajh, and the plural is wujuhu, wujuh. I'm pretty sure you hear this word in the Quran. Wujuh is the plural, faces. As-sadiq is what? As-sadiq is what? Sadiq is friend. It's from the sidq, sadaqa. All of these things come from the same thing. Sadiq here is friend. I'll just write it down. Friend. And you know Alif Lam is going to be the friend. Al-Quran, we know what Quran. Salah, of course, prayer. Kaaba. Kaaba is what? The Makkah, Kaaba, right? So actually these are new words, but the words that some of them we already know. Ra'as, ra'su is head, okay? Head, you know, the thing that hanging on your body on the top. Yes, a lot of vocabulary. So that's why I remember I gave you the vocabularies like 2 weeks ago, saying that we're going to be studying this list for next 2 weeks. But even so, I do feel it's a lot of them. Honestly, I agree with you. So let's see what we can do. Maybe inshallah one of these days we'll come back and we'll do a little bit more exercise. Al-isba' is a finger. Okay. Sabun, it sounds like soap, so hopefully that's easier. Sabun, soap, I don't know, maybe not. Dhuf is nail. Nail, not the nail you hammer it, nails, your fingernails. Yeah, these are book for today, but you don't have to memorize all of them today, inshallah. Okay, I mean, okay. Fajr, and these are all easy. Fajr is, you know what Fajr is? The prayer Fajr. Dhuhr is the prayer Dhuhr. Asr, Maghrib, Isha. They all have a meanings, but I don't want to give you the meanings right now to overwhelm you even more. Okay, Fajr is the dawn, Dhuhr is the noon. Maybe I should write it down. Okay, Dhuhr is the noon, and the Asr is the evening time. Maghrib is also, when the ghurub, the sun goes down. Isha is the, the night time. So anyway, right now they're not. I think they're just giving you the name of the prayer. So just remember, memorize them as the name of the prayer. So this is not important. So yeah, I do agree with you guys. There are lots of vocabularies. So inshallah, we can take our times and memorize them. Once in a while, maybe I'll try this week to send you something to help you out with these vocabularies, okay? So anything else you want to learn and ask about this lesson? Because we have to start lesson number 4, which is very, very important. And I have about half hour to talk about it. Yeah, we're cool. So basically looks like it's all vocabularies, right? That's what we learn. It's pretty much vocabularies, and only thing we have to understand the alif lam, right? Remember we talked about alif lam. It's the same thing as the, and alif lam and tanween never comes together. So right now we have to start a new topic. Okay, Bismillah. So don't worry, some of these things will come back, and some of these words will also come back. So if we, but sooner we memorize them. One thing we don't want to do is pile those words up, right? If we pile them up, then it might be okay. So today's lesson is super important, right? The thing that I'm going to start talking about what I started talking about earlier, which is something has to do with I use the word a lot of time, haraka, and the plural is harakat. Okay, haraka and harakat. Okay, you don't have to know these terms actually in English. I don't want to confuse you, but this is same thing as what we say in English language as a vowels. Okay, vowels. So what are the harakats? Harakats are what? You have a dhamma, you have a fatha, and you have a kasra, right? You understand? So these are the harakats. But English, so what are these harakats doing? Alhamdulillah. That's good. So what are these harakats are doing? What does the vowel do? Believe it or not, the vowels and harakat, they're only helping us to pronounce something, because exactly, just helping us with the pronunciation, nothing else, nothing more. Because we cannot have consonants one after another, and we won't be, as a human being, we simply cannot pronounce those things, right? If you have like, you have S, D, P, Q, we don't know what to do with these things. We need some kind of vowels in order to make some sound out of those consonants, right? So that's all it's doing. So that's pretty much what harakat is doing. But in Arabic language, we have a little bit interesting. We have two types of vowels, right? This is something that I want to explain to you. which was some of the questions that some of you asked before. We have two types of vowels. We have short vowels, which are the harakats that I'm talking about, dhamma, fatha, and kasra. Okay, and then we have long vowels. So that's one of the beautiful thing about Arabic language, is that you cannot, because it comes back to pronunciation, right? You cannot make a mistake in pronunciation, because the harakats are so, the vowels are so fixed, and so, it, it will tell you how to pronounce. In English, it's different thing. Sometimes you'll see the A will be long. Sometimes you say same A, it's a short, like you get confused, like especially someone who is not native, they're trying to pronounce these words properly. They get completely lost. Like, why do you have, same thing pronouncing different ways, all this question, this and that, right? But in Arabic is very precise. So if it's a short vowels, you make a short sound. Yes, this is the mad. When in the tajweed, we call them mad, right? And when we have a long vowels, we make it longer. Okay, so that's basically, it comes back to what, as Sister Faria said, is pronunciation. We're still talking about pronunciation. So what are the long vowels? Long vowels are our what? Waw, alif, and ya. These are our long vowels, right? Now, the interesting thing about these long vowels is these are vowels and consonant at the same time. That's the problem with these vowels, not especially only these two, except for the alif. Alif is always a vowel. It's never going to come as a consonant. It is always a vowel. So what do I mean by wow is being consonant? Think a simple way. If any letter that has, because how can you have a vowel that has another vowel? I mean, it's kind of like doesn't make sense, right? So for example, if I say wow is a vowel, then having another vowel on it, at this time, it's not a vowel anymore. It's a consonant, right? Because you're pronouncing it just like wow. Okay, you're saying we. Okay, you're pronouncing this one, right? You understand? So because it already, so this time it's not going to be considered as a vowel. It's a when it is considered as a vowel, this is where the technical interesting thing happens, which is, you see this, there's a very interesting relationship between these short vowels and the long vowels, which is what? The waw goes with dhamma, alif goes with fatha, and ya goes with kasra. Is it clear? So wow, well, this one kind of looks like wow, small wow here, so that might be helpful. Subhanallah. So, okay. Wow and dhamma, they are in the same categories. However you want to see it, whatever term you want to use it, that's fine. I've seen many different people use many different terms. It just, as long as you understand wow and dhamma goes together, just think like that for now. And I'll explain what do I mean by goes together. So, but right now think about wow and dhamma, they go together, okay? Then we have fatha, okay? Fatha and alif, they go together. And then we have kasra, okay? It's under the line, kasra and ya, they go together, okay? So when they go together, that's when we have a long vowels. Now to explain to you, it's some concept, I don't want to spend too much time, but it will be useful because the book is always, pushing us to pronounce without the harakat. So that's going to be super helpful. So let's see, what do I mean? The word that we have, one of the words that we had, what are the words we had? Okay, let's do this. Maksur, okay, we had maksur, right? We know what maksur means, right? Maksur means what? Broken. So maksurun. Okay, so if you can find, do you spot the long vowels? We have a long vowels, wow, right? Wow is a long vowels. Now our question is it a vowel right now or is it a consonant? If it has a sukun, then is a vowel. And it has a sukun, why? Because the letter before it has a dhamma. So it's kind of very difficult, but it's a very simple rule, but it's just difficult to explain. I just don't want you guys to be overwhelmed with this concept because it's not super important right now. But know that when we have a wow and before we have a dhamma, that's when you make it longer. Yeah, asli, yes, that's the mad asli. This is the original. And believe it or not, in Arabic language, this is the only mad. all this mad moon, the longer mad munfasil muttasil, all these things, these are only in the Quran. Every other mad is only in the Quran. In the Arabic language, we only have one alif mad. That's it, simple as that. There's no such a thing as you are saying, ooh, like you're making four harakat, 4 beats long, 6 beats long. It doesn't exist in Arabic language. It's only the rules of the tajweed, which is recitations. Yes, so that's interesting. Even the qalqala, none of these things exist in the Arabic language. So the concept is, if you guys know these rules in Arabic language, that it's going to be super helpful, right? So if you have, for example, so what goes with ya is kasra. Okay, so if whatever letter it is, doesn't matter whatever letter it is, if it has a kasra and then followed by ya, guess what? Oh, the meaning might change. Yes, because meaning might change. Yes, of course, meaning will change also, right? So because when you good question. I'm gonna come back to this one. Okay. So and then and here we have the one that we talked about is what? The last one is, you have, doesn't matter what you have here, as long as you have a fatha and then you have alif, then it is a long vowel. So when you have a long vowels and short vowels working together in the one that goes with each other, that's when it's a vowel. So what's gonna happen when you have, for example, a situation like this? You have a fatha and then you have a vowel. Is it a vowel anymore? It could be, but at that time it will be considered as, if you don't have this combination, that's, it's really as a, it's not your vowel anymore. It's gonna be like, it's gonna be ow sound, because it's not making it longer. It's not making the it's not going to be considered as your long vowel. Only time it will be considered it's a long vowel when you have this pattern. I don't want to dive too much into these things right now, but it's kind of important, because what happens when you have this one, for example, you don't have any harakat, you see this one, this part, let's say you don't know what this part, it should be very easy for you to pronounce, because you see a wow and there's nothing written here. Your initial thought would be there has to be a dhamma. So you're not going to pronounce as saur. Okay, you're not going to be pronounced as siur, nothing. Your initial understanding, initial thought will be there's a dhamma. Okay, so you're going to say maksur. You understand? Is that clear? So when you have something like we have anything with the ya today? Did we have any word with ya? Any word with the ya? I don't know. I don't know if we had a handkerchief. Mindil, yes, good. Min. Okay, so min. Now look what happened. Here you see ya, and there's no harakat. Your initial thought, your brain wants to be pronouncing this word with the kasra sound here, this part. Okay, because why? Because you have a ya and there's no harakat. It's not telling you anything otherwise. Then you want to read like mindil, because you see ear. See, previous one, it's much easier to have the e sound, mindil. Okay, so this concept will be a little bit important, especially with the book when you are trying to read without harakat. Okay, and we already explained to you about the alif. Okay, right? We explained to you about the alif. Right? So you see, the alif is the special case, because if you have alif, there's no other way. You cannot pronounce this thing in any other way. Okay, even writing it is absolutely redundant, because when you have alif, it will always be fatah here. Okay, so it always will be babun. So basically, only time waw and ya will be a long vowel if it's followed by it's followed by one of its short vowels. Okay, so what is the short vowel for waw? Short vowel for waw is dhamma. What is the short vowel for ya? Short vowel for ya is kasra. And what is a short vowel for alif? It is fatha. When you have this scenario, that's when we are talking about these are long vowels. Okay, but these two words waw, ya, it can also be used as normal letters, normal consonants, just like normal letters also, right? Because you can have waw, u, you can have kasra, fatha, all of these things, right? Except for alif. We told you that alif can never have any fatha, kasra, and dhamma, right? Basically, we have short vowels, which is fatha, dhamma, kasra. You have we have a dhamma, and plus waw. Then you have fatha plus alif. You have kasra plus ya. So as if you can picture this them together, I think your life will be much easier. If you can think about that dhamma and wow, somehow they go together right now. This is the only concept I want to understand, that alif and fatha, dhamma and wow, kasra and ya. You will see this will be super important as we move forward, because these, they play lots of roles in the Arabic language when they come together, right? Especially, you understand? So right now, the one that we're interested in, 1 second. Right now, what we're interested in this kind of combination. You have a dhamma before, and then you have a wow. Now we have a long vowels. You have a kasra before, then you have a ya. That's why you have to know what goes with the kasra. If you think like you have a kasra and you have a wow, you're like, okay, you told me kasra is a vowels, wow is also vowels. So what's going on? No, that's why you have to know which one goes with what. Okay, so you have ya goes with kasra. Okay, so this thing. Okay, so inshallah, this thing concept will be coming a lot. So hopefully you guys will be familiar with this, sooner or later, inshallah. So the topic today is something that little bit relevant, which is what, which is we're talking about pronunciation, right? We said pronunciation. So this word, we don't know how to pronounce. We use this one of those harakat to pronounce this word, right? Because they're vowels. So we got to put our vowels. So we said, how do you pronounce? You said masjid. Okay, masjid, right? So we are using this short vowel just like in any language, helping us to pronounce, right? I explained this one to you before. In Arabic language, a word has its spelling, but also here, look what's happening at the end. The end one is your grammar. That's what we're gonna start talking about, remember? Because in English, if you think about, all of the ending is basically sukun, student, book, all of them has a sukun. You can think about it like that, right? Because there's nothing else. If you're done with the pronunciation, you're done with the the spelling and pronouncing the word. Book, you're done. Book, finish. There's nothing to talk about. Like, why do you gonna put buku? And if you do this thing, that becomes part of the word, right? So you can think of there is a sukun. But in Arabic language, every word has its pronunciation and also its grammar, the role of the in the sentence. Okay. So here, this harakat with the dhamma, it means something in terms of grammatical perspective. This dhamma has nothing to do with the word itself. Okay, this dhamma has to do with its grammar. Okay, you understand this? This part I think I mentioned before. So we have a masjid. You can stop here, masjid. That's fine. You stop here, masjid. You're done with the pronouncing the word masjid. And we say all the time, bait. You don't have to say baitun. You say bait, masjid, bab, qalam. Okay, najm. All of them are fine because everybody knows what word you're talking about. You're pronouncing the word perfectly. What's the problem? No problem. Okay. But the issue is, when we put this word in a sentence, that's when we have to figure out what we have to do with the ending. Okay. So by default, what we said by default, everything is dhamma. Whether it's dhamma or dhamma of tanwin of dhamma tani, doesn't matter. Okay. Default is what? Default is all of them is dhamma. So and if you can see, every word that we got today, so up until now, everything was what? With the dhamma. As I said, doesn't matter whether you have a one dhamma or double dhamma, that has to do with definite or indefinite. Okay, that doesn't change the grammar role of the word. Okay, so al-masjidu, masjidun, babun, kitabun, qalamun, maktabun, al-mindilu. You see, everything has a dhamma at the end. Because why? That is the default. If you have no reason to think otherwise, you have to think every word ends in a dhamma. Simple as that. In Arabic language, every noun ends in a dhamma. But we have to learn how to change it based on its grammar role. And one of the ones, and so what are the changes can happen? For example, we can have masjid as masjidun. We can have masjidin. We can also have masjidan. There's a little bit issue with the done here, no problem. So you see, these are the ones that we have to change. Okay, based on where are we putting this thing. Yes, by default is indefinite as well. The question is why? Why? Because which one is like more base case. Base case is indefinite. It looks like when we want to say something definite, we have to do a little bit more extra work, like even in English. A pen is a pen is a pen. But if we want to say the pen, it looks like we're adding something to make it, so that's why it's not a default. The default is just a pen. So yeah, so we like to think that every word by default, it's Dhamma and it's indefinite, okay, every word. So that's how we're gonna start thinking. And then we will change them based on situation and the reason. One of the reasons we'll be studying today, okay? So you understand this part? So you see, we're not touching anything up until here. Masjid, this is a word. We cannot change the word. We're still talking about the masjid. We cannot say masjid, musjid. We cannot change any of these things, right? But we have to change the ending. This is our job. Okay, so we are in charge of the ending. Okay, we are in charge of the ending. Do we put Dhamma, Kasra, or Fatha? Okay, so but where do we start with? We have to start with something, right? For example, this word just sitting by itself. Remember, the grammar only comes when we put the word in a sentence, right? Right? You understand that? If the word is sitting by itself, there's no grammar. So we need a default case. So what is the default case? Default case is Dhamma. Simple as that. So whether you put al-masjid, doesn't matter. Okay, al-masjid, do, this is same thing. We still have the Dhamma. We haven't changed its grammar yet. Okay, right now, only thing I want you guys to understand that the default is Dhamma, okay? And the ending has to do with grammar. So when do we change? So today we'll be learning our first time when we change the ending, when we talk about preposition, okay? So preposition. Preposition, today we'll only be talking about preposition, but the huruful in Arabic, it says huruful jar. Huruful jar is a lot more than huruful jar, yes. Sorry, huruful jar. So huruful jar is the same thing as prepositions, okay? So what are the prepositions in English? For example, in, on, to, right? What else? In, on, to. So these are all preposition, right? At, yes, fine, at, yes. When you have a preposition, this is one of the time when we have to think about changing our ending because the grammar changes. For example, we had, I'll give you some of the meanings. So how do you say, these are the vocabularies we have to learn. In Arabic is fi, okay? On in Arabic is ala, okay? To in Arabic is ila, okay? At we'll do a little bit later, okay? You understand? These words you have to know. Believe it or not, the prepositions, you have to memorize as fast. The preposition it's like thousands and thousands times comes in the Quran. Once you know the prepositions, you probably know, like, I would say like 1/4 of the Quran anyway, because prepositions comes in many different forms, right? So you have to memorize this preposition as fast as you can. So the first thing, at least, this week, you should be memorizing the preposition before even you get to the other vocabularies, because prepositions are much, much more important, right? So fi is fi. So how do you say fi? In Arabic, we say fi. Okay. How do you say on in Arabic? We say ala. And how do you say, no, maybe I should put the ala, ila. Okay. So far, so good. So these three words we have to memorize. Fi is in, ala is on, ila is to. So in Arabic language, when we have a preposition followed by a noun, this is when we have to change our grammar. So let's say we had the word that we are very familiar with, al-masjidu, right? Al-masjidu, the mosque, right? We are saying masjidu. Why we're saying masjidu? Because this is a default. I don't see any reason. You don't show me some reason why should I change it. This is the default case. I'm just saying the masjid. So why should I change? Yes, absolutely. You don't have any reason to change. But as soon as you say in the masjid, I want to say in the masjid, you say fi. You bring the word fi. I want to say in the masjid. Now, this is the first time we have to think about changing the grammar, because it's not our standard default case anymore, okay? So right now it becomes in its different form. We're gonna be studying more about the genitive and we'll use those terms later, but right now I want you to introduce this concept very easy, so you can understand this concept a little bit. First thing we want to understand that the changing the ending is our job, right? If we don't have any reason to change, we just put dhamma. Simple. We start with dhamma. Everything we start with dhamma. I want to say house, you say al bayt. What are you gonna say? Al bayta. Why are you gonna say al bayta? You have to, you have to have a reason. Al bayti. Okay, explain why. If you don't have any reason, okay, fine. That's my case. I'll just put a dhamma. Are you happy? Yes. And now I'm happy, because the default is everything is dhamma. You have to have a reason why you're changing your grammar, because this is the grammar we're talking about, right? Al baytu. So what is when you're gonna change? When you put preposition. So okay, now you want to say in the house, fi. Now you cannot keep your dhamma anymore. Now you cannot say al fil baitu. That's not gonna work. So first rule is every time you have a preposition and then you have a noun, of course the preposition always comes after a noun, you have to change this one into kasra. Okay, don't worry, this is our topic for this week and the next week. So we're gonna have a lot of more fun with this one. But right now I'm just trying to get you guys thinking that this ending is the main game of Arabic language. Believe it or not, my teacher said the whole reason why we study Arabic grammar for years and years and years is just to figure out what to do with the last letter. Do I put dhamma, kasra, or fatha? So don't think you can understand this thing, because this is the only difference between the Arabic and English. Why English, we don't have to worry about this thing, because the sentence structure dictates which one is the subject, which one is the predicate. For example, you have the boy is eating rice, whatever. You know that whatever, this is your verb, anything that comes before verb is going to be subject, and anything after verb is an object. Can you say this one any other ways? Can you say rice eating boys? I mean, you cannot do anything, right? You have to say the subject first, then you say the verb, and then you say the object. You understand? That's why English, we don't have to worry about ending of the sentence of a noun or a word, because the structure dictates who is doing what. Nobody's confused. But in Arabic, you can bring the verb first. You can do you can do this one here. You can do that one here. You can shuffle things out so crazily. You will learn those things. It's amazing what you can do with Arabic language. And the Quran does that all the time. And if you don't know which one is the subject, how would you know if which one is subject and which one is object, right? This is how we know we put those endings. So that means this part I just want you to understand for today. Inshallah, we'll be talking a lot about this preposition next time. Main thing I want you guys to understand that ending is the grammar, and this is something that our job to change, and we'll change based on situation. And if we don't have any situation, what do we put? What do we put? There's no reason for us to change anything. What do we start with? Everything. We start with dhamma. Yes, simple as that. Somebody has to prove a case, go to a court, prove their documents and everything in order to make that change. If they don't have a case, you just put dhamma and you just move on. Don't listen to him. So now we're telling you our first rule. If there is a preposition, and then after the preposition, you have your al-baytu, then this is your first time you have to think about, now I have to change. Because after a preposition, every noun will be in kasra state. We'll be talking about state and whole, nominative, genitive, and accusative business later. But right now, this is the first thing that I want you to understand. So you have a preposition, you put kasra. So we're saying here, we said al-masjidu, now we're saying fi in the masjid. Fi is in the masjid. I want to say I'm going to the masjid, or I'm in the masjid. I want to say I am in the masjid. We'll learn this word. I'm just going to tell you right now. Ana means I. Ana fil masjid. Now what are you going to do? See, you can start ana fil masjid. You're being clever here. You're not saying anything. Yes. Because of the fi, you have to put masjidi. This is our first rule. Any preposition. That means what? We have to know what are the prepositions, right? So we have to memorize the fi, ala, ila, any preposition. For example, now you want to say, I'm not in the masjid, I'm going to the masjid. So I say, to go is ila, okay? Going to, you're saying al-mas. The whole time we've been learning this word, al-masjidu, al-masjidu, al-masjidu means the masjid. But all of a sudden we have the ila. Now I cannot say al-masjidu anymore. Now we have to say what? ilal masjidi. You see? So it is our job is to change the ending based on what the situation in the grammar. So we'll learn about this state when we have a preposition and the word next to it is called genitive. Okay, so we'll learn this word right now, honestly, and it's in Arabic, it's called majrur. Majrur. We'll learn these words later. Don't worry too much about those things. But my main goal for today, because I don't have too much time, is to give you this concept. What is consonant, or sorry, what is your spelling and what is your grammar when you look at the word? Okay, so in the beginning we're looking at these words, and we learn about these things, right? So in the beginning, so when you have these short vowels, these vowels are helping us. What is helping us with the pronunciation and the spelling of the word, and the ending vowel, the last vowel, is helping us with the grammar. Okay, this is our grammar, and this is our spelling. If you understand this much for now, few things I want to write down what I want you guys to understand for today's lesson, right? Number one, ending letter, ending harakat, vowel, I'll just write vowel, indicates what? Grammar. Okay, that's number one. Number two is default equal to Dhamma. And I mean Dhamma or Tanween. Doesn't matter. Tanween is Dhamma. Both of them. You know, the fact that something is one Dhamma or double Dhamma, that doesn't change whether the word is subject or object. It's still subject, if you understand. So you have to keep that in mind, because don't think the one Dhamma and two Dhamma is the grammatical difference. No, usually we use one Dhamma and two Dhamma to indicate what? Definite or indefinite. That's the most of the time. That's how we use the Tanween. Tanween is used for what? Indicate something that's indefinite. Okay. And the second thing is we learn after preposition. After preposition, ending will get kasra. If you understood these three things right now, believe it or not, inshallah, we'll be spending a lot more time talking about the whole concept, right? So I just don't want don't want you to guys overwhelmed. Number one, today's we had a lot of vocabularies. Even I was feeling overwhelmed going through them. So that much, and I understand, inshallah, don't worry, we'll take a little bit more time. Second thing is that I actually wanted you guys to understand this concept of short vowels and long vowels, right? Because this will help you. I didn't want to give you this topic today because this will help you, because book is keep on removing this harakat, right? And if you are not comfortable with this thing, you will not know how to pronounce some of these things, okay? This will help you understand. And also, but the small short vowels, you know, you have to know these are part of your pronunciation, right? So this concept, if it's bothered you too much, you can ignore it for now. And then we talked about what the first part of the word is your spelling up until the end. The ending, the last one, we deal with what to put, and that is the entire Arabic grammar. Believe it or not, this is the entire Arabic grammar. Whatever study that you do and for Arabic grammar from now until Allahu alam, how long you guys, inshallah, you know, master this language, you will see only thing you're thinking about is this word, is it a nominative or genitive or accusative, does it get fatha, dhamma or kasra, why, all of this. There are so many rules, you know, about these things, right? So just get ready. I want you to guys get ready. For the first time, inshallah, we'll be tackling grammar. You know, we're here to, you know, get this guy, you know, figure out what to do. Okay, so the first thing we learned by default is everything is dhamma, and if we have a preposition, we put kasra. And the rule, so the book is, let me show you the book. So the book it starts with here, okay? So I have 2 minutes. Let's see what I can do with the 2 minutes. Just you have this page, you know, if you understand this much and then memorize the vocabularies, I am fine. So they're just showing you the grammar. They're not explaining anything, and I'll do the explaining, inshallah, but they're just telling you what's going on. We learned, they're saying that you guys learned al-baitu. Good job. Chapter 1 and 2 and 3, you guys learned baitu. But in chapter 4, I'm telling you, you have a fee, you're going to put kasra. That's all they're saying right now. Okay. And the book at the end, they will give you a little bit of rules. Right now, the book is not saying anything, just saying that's what you're gonna do. You have a masjidu, you put fi, you say masjidi. You have a sariru, you have ala, which is on, you put kasra. So are they saying anything? No, they're not saying anything. Basically, but you have to understand, the teacher has to explain to you what they mean is the preposition, which is fi, ala, ila, okay, ila, and we have a lot more. I don't want to give you too many of them because I don't know which one they give you. Right now, they just focused on these two. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more coming. Ma'a, oh, well, ma'a is not here. Okay. So right now, as long as if you understand fi and ala, I think you'll be fine with the chapter, chapter 4. Fi and ala. Okay. Fi is what? Fi is in, ala is on. Write them down and memorize. Right now, you don't even leave the class if you don't know these two words. Fi is in, ala is on. Simple as that. And if you even read anything in Arabic, whether you're reading dua or Quran and whatnot, these words are like coming left, right every time, right? So you see, the book is just telling you this thing, and so the rule is these are preposition. Any preposition, we have like lots of preposition, right? Any preposition that comes, the noun after that will get a kasra. So they're giving you indefinite. So what's gonna be here? For example, I say I went to any house. So I always do that. Let's say this is my last talk, and then I'm done. Baitun. Baitun is a house, any house, and I'm telling you, I am in a house. I am in a house, any house. I'm not telling you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna put fi. Now what are you going to say? Come on, that's the last question to you guys. Fi what? What do I change? I want to hear the ending sound. Now I'm saying I am in a house. Let's see if you guys understood anything or not. Exactly. I want to hear someone else, even if you agree with her or not agree with her. See, right now when I say I feel baiti, you cannot say tin. I need the tin sound. Why? Because initially it was baitun with the tanwin. So when we put in kasra, we have to do the tin tanwin. We cannot remove the tanwin because we're still talking about a indefinite. This tanwin we only remove when we put alif lam. Okay, you understand? So I'm still saying I am in a house. So if you remove the tanwin, that means you're changing the meaning. Meaning you're saying it means something else. You're not saying give me tanwin. If I say I'm in a house, you have to say fi baitin. Okay, inshallah, don't worry if it's too much right now. Don't worry, we'll spend a lot of time. This book is full of these things. You can imagine how many exercises here. If by the time you finish this chapter, there's no way, inshallah, it's going to be any confusion.